Firestarter 2022 is the new remake of the original classic Firestarter movie made in the 80s starring Drew Barrymore. In this one, we follow a young girl, again, who can create fire out of nothing with her superhuman powers. You know, if you guys have seen the original, you kind of got an idea of what you're going to expect it going into this movie. It's very similar, but different at the same time. But I'm going to tell you guys my thoughts on this one. Let me know in the comments below, what did you guys think of the remake? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Smash it down below. Smash that like button, click subscribe, and without further ado, let's jump into this review of Firestarter 2022. Okay, so Firestarter, the new reimagined 80s classic movie brought to life with updated special effects, VFX, just new cast, and maybe a new story? Could it be? Well, I'll tell you guys right now. Look, the old classic one starring Drew Barrymore is an absolute classic. We all know that. We all know it's one of those classics of some people love it, some people absolutely hate it. So what they needed to do with a remake of Firestarter was do it that pays tribute to the original, but also gives it its own sense of life and its own identity. So it's not just a carbon copy. And that's what they did here. They didn't do a complete carbon copy of the original, which I'm so thankful for, because I hate it when they make remakes and it's just a carbon copy. It's like, can you give us something unique, something different, something we haven't seen in that franchise? And that's what they did here. They gave us a story with these characters that you're gonna love because it's not the same that we've already seen. And that's really what stands on this movie and makes it the best that it can possibly be, is that chemistry between the characters themselves, while also it does sort of feel like it leads you on to wanting more, which can be a good thing, but can also be a bad thing. Because I remember after watching this movie today, I came out and I was kind of like, I wanted more. So it felt underwhelming, but I was like, you know what? It's a good movie. It's a decent movie, but it feels like a starter movie. And what I mean by like that is it's on, I would put this in the same category and bracket as like a Brightburn, where it felt like they came up with this cool concept, this cool idea, delivered this great movie, but it made you wanting more. And it felt like it was the start of something bigger. And that's what Firestarter feels like. It feels like it's the origin story of either a supervillain or a superhero. That's what this movie feels like. And they really lean towards the superhero aspect a lot in this movie. We see it multiple times come up with certain things that happened in the past experience with the parents that leads them to this direct moment in their life with their child. And I thought the performances were great. I'm not going to lie, the performance was great. I love Zac Efron. I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's highly talented. Doesn't necessarily pick the right roles, but he was fantastic as the father in this. And I loved him. I loved his dynamic with the little girl, his daughter. I thought that whole chemistry worked. There's this one chilling cold line that she says to him that you kind of like, damn, how do you take that as a father? How do you take that and just not be like completely disappointed? The whole story idea, I get why they did it, but again, that's where it makes me feel like this feels like an origin story that's leading to something bigger. Whether or not Blumhouse are going to do that, because, I mean, could they tie it into Brightburn? Who knows? I don't know. That'd be pretty kind of cool. But then again, do you need to tie it into everything? No, not necessarily. They do a lot of horror aspects throughout this film that I really enjoyed as well. But what my big issue is it felt like it was going down the superhero hero route, like really boom, we're going down that route, and then it brings it back to the horror element as well. And I'm kind of like, it didn't really feel like it knew exactly which one it wanted to go. It wanted to be, it's Blumhouse, they're really good at horror movies and low budget horror movies at that, so they kind of wanted to go down that route. But in the same breath, they were kind of like, superhero movies are cool, everyone loves them at the moment, they're the thing to do, can we put that twist in there? And I don't necessarily think it worked, I just wish they kind of went down the more horror route and kind of left the superhero stuff to the side. But it's at the forefront of this movie is that superhero element. And I get why they did it, but I think it would be better if you took that element out. As for the villains of the film, the government, whatever you want to call them, the leader, she is just a character that I just absolutely despise. And whether or not they did that on purpose, if they did, then good on them. They made me hate that character, so I was rude for her to die. That's all I wanted. I was like, just kill her. Kill her. That's fine. I don't care about her. But say, tried to make her like this very intimidating person, but she didn't feel intimidating. Like, she's standing there trying to intimidate all these people to do what they want. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, you're not making me feel like that at all. I don't feel like she's going to come into this room and tell me what to do. And I'm going to just look at her and go, yes, ma'am, I'll do that. I'm kind of look at her and go, ha, you're having a laugh, love. I ain't doing anything you tell me. And I think that's a problem, because when you have a character like that, you've got to make him formidable. You've got to make them very intimidating. And they don't do that. The other character they bring in who has this is basically like a bounty hunter, really. He's cool, but I wanted to know more about him. There's this whole backstory with him that isn't explored at all. He's kind of just thrown in there. And there's obviously a connection and stuff like that with the little girl with him, but it's just never explored. So it feels unfinished. As for the pacing as well, the pacing was weird in this movie. I don't know why. It feels really, really weird. It felt longer than it was, but then it didn't. In certain aspects, it did harm at the film, and I was kind of like scratching my head like, okay, we're going through this really, really quick here. We are going through this quick. I haven't had time to breathe. I haven't had time to understand what is going on, who is connected, why are they doing this. It's just scene from scene from scene from scene. And then there's this montage that they try to do of her training to develop her powers, but it's so quick. Like, she literally learns how to control her powers like that. It's like not even, it's within like a couple of hours. And I felt like that takes away from the film, where I think if we spent more time with her and her father trying to teach her to control her powers while they're on the run, I thought would have been better over a couple of days or months or weeks even, trying to develop her. But she kind of just knows how to do it. And I felt like that took away from a lot of it as well. And that was like a quick, like, not even a 2-minute scene of her training. So the pacing there was kind of like, we jump, boom, boom, done. And I'm kind of sitting there like, why are we just jumping over that stuff? That's interesting. I want to see her fail with her powers and learn how to control them. That would be cool. But they don't do that. And that's unfortunate for me. You obviously have, if you guys have seen the trailers, or you know, there is the cringiest line in almost in cinematic history. The liar, liar, pants on fire line is super cringe. They don't need that in there. That when that was said, I would just cringe so hard. It was so cringy. It took the movie down for me with just that scene alone. But there's character motives in here that worked but didn't work at the same time. I like Zac Efron's character, as I said. I like the mother as well. I like their whole family dynamic. I get what they were trying to do. But Firestarter just feels like an origin story that is left you wanting more. That's the best way I can sum it up. It's left you wanting more. It's a bit underwhelming, while also cool. The visual effects are great as well. I must say, the visual effects are fantastic. The practical effects are great as well. Blumhouse nailed that as well. There's just, some of it's just gruesome, and I'm just like, oh, that is great. Some of the action sequences are great. The music is cool. There's this one scene where towards the end in the final act where the music was really, really cool as well, and it really went down the superhero theme, which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. But overall, the cinematography was great. Yeah, so it could have been better, and it could have given me more, but it is what it is. And I'm gonna say it's a decent film. It's a decent film. It's not top tier films for me of the year, but it is in that decent category at the moment. So let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the new Firestarter? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Smash it down below. Smash that like button. Click subscribe. And I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.